I built $100 million sales machine without hiring a single experienced closer. Most founders think they need rock stars. That's why they're stuck taking every sales call themselves. But if I had to start over today, I'd follow 4 rules that flip everything you've been told about building a sales team. Rule number 1, I'd hire for hunger, not experience. Every founder wants to hire the experienced closer, the person who's sold for a big name company and already knows the game. But here's the truth. Those people usually come with bad habits. They want to do things their way, not your way. And the moment you try to hold them accountable, they'll say, that's not how we did it at my last company. That's a recipe for chaos. Instead, I'd look for people who are coachable, people who want to learn, who don't have an ego about how sales should be done. When I started building my team, I realized the rookies, the ones with no prior sales background, were crushing it because they didn't have to unlearn anything. They just follow the system we gave them. We use what I call the service test. I'd ask, tell me about a time you helped someone win, even when you didn't have to. If they lit up when they talk about helping others, that's someone who will crush it in sales. I've hired a ton of experienced reps. The experienced reps that I've hired, there's always been some type of rub on how we can do it in a systemic way that makes everything grow. The successful rookie reps, it's almost like they're so excited to be learning that they don't even think about what this should look like, what this should feel like. If we didn't have a proven track record of success, then what I'm saying doesn't matter. I don't want to go on to coach Nick Saban's staff and try to teach him how to coach. I'm not comparing myself to Nick Saban. I am saying what we do works. So when we bring in someone young and experienced and they're excited, wide-eyed, bushy-tailed, ready to learn and grow as a sales rep, they just do really, really well. Rule number 2, I document my process before day 1. Your sales success isn't luck. It's not magic. It's a system. You just haven't written it down yet. Most founders keep all their best strategies right in their head. Problem? You can't scale what's in your head. So if you're starting from scratch, I spend 1 weekend writing everything down from leads to close. Every question, every objection, every follow-up step. Then I'd run what I call the dummy test. If someone with 0 experience can follow your process and close a deal, it's ready. If they can't, you still got too many gaps. When I built my insurance sales team, that documentation was the turning point. I literally created a step-by-step system anyone could follow. And that's what allowed me to train hundreds of reps at scale without having to be on every single call myself. It allowed me to remove myself from having to take all the calls every single day. Rule 3, I'd create daily accountability, not weekly check-ins. Here's where most teams fall apart. No real accountability systems. I was talking to a founder today in sales who was looking to scale his sales team, but he has multiple different reps. Everybody's doing things completely differently than the other, and that's okay at times. The reality is he's having trouble tracking sales. And so in order to unify and uniform the sales process, the accountability system really steps in and allows for the business to grow. I know founders that run a weekly meeting thinking it'll keep everyone aligned, but by the time you review the numbers, you've lost 7 days of performance. That's just too late. I'd run a 15-minute daily huddle. 3 questions you want to know in this huddle. What were your wins yesterday? What obstacles are in your way today? And what's your single focus for the next 24 hours? You'd be amazed at what happens when every rep knows they'll have to say out loud what they did and what they didn't do. And we don't just track closed deals. We track activity metrics, calls made, follow-up sent, demos booked, because those lead to the outcomes. That simple rhythm prevented slumps before they ever became disasters. When one rep was struggling, we spotted it within a day, not a week later when it was too late to fix. If you're realizing right now that you're the bottleneck in your own sales process, that every deal needs your magic touch to close, this is exactly what I help founders fix every day. Click the link below to book a strategy call. We'll audit your current setup, find where it's breaking down, and map out the exact steps to build a team that sells without you. Rule number 4, I'd promote my first manager from within. This is critical. This is the step that truly scales your sales engine. Most founders think we've grown enough, time to hire a sales manager. So they go outside the company and suddenly everything breaks because the new manager doesn't know your system. They don't know your culture. They start changing things that don't really need fixing. Instead, your first manager should come from within. Your best rep, the one who followed your process to the letter and won. Let that person become your first leader. They've lived it. They know what good looks like. That's how you start scaling yourself out of the day-to-day sales management. I remember when I promoted Malachi, one of our early reps. He wasn't the flashiest salesperson, but he lived the system. When he stepped into leadership, he trained others to do exactly what worked. And that freed me up to focus on the next stage of our growth. In every single business that we work in, we want to find someone who loves people, but also understands the sales process. Because if we can, we're going to try to uplift that person when we talk to the founder to see if they can run the sales team. The reality is that if the person knows the process and they work well with people, they're already inside the deal. It's cute and nice to go outside and get somebody the company doesn't know. And I don't think there's really anything wrong with that, but there's nothing like building from within. The last company we did that with, we tabbed the right person, helped them build from within. That person continued to be a rock star. And because they already have the respect of the people inside because they close a lot, it's natural for them to grow up into this managerial role and have other people looking up to them as they guide and direct the day-to-day sales process. Building a sales team isn't about finding unicorns. It's about creating a system that turns average people into consistent performers. When you build the right framework, when the system is solid, the team doesn't rely on your personal charisma or skill. They just follow the process and win. Because at the end of the day, systems beat superstars every single time. You can keep being the only one closing deals in your business, or you can build a system that works without you. I help founders make that shift every day, from being trapped in the sales process to leading teams that close while they focus on growth. If you're ready to step out of the sales seat and start acting like the CEO again, click the link below to book a call. If you want to see exactly how I trained over 1,000 reps to sell without me, watch this next video, the video on how I trained 1,000 sales reps and learned this.